Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the 21-day challenge to become contract ready. Are you ready to go? I hope that you are because you know I certainly am. We have another exciting day planned for you in the 21-day challenge. I'm excited about it, so I want to jump right in. I am your host, Kimberly Kelly Roth, the expert that trains small businesses to build million-dollar enterprises utilizing corporate and government contracts. Wow, what a journey this has been. So I want to go ahead and just jump right in because today we don't have a moment to lose because I have so much I want to cover for you today because we're going to be talking about a topic that I know a lot of people don't even understand or are not aware of, but it's such a good one. So let's just dive right in. We are on day number 11 of our 21-day challenge. Yay! You guys, we are almost 2 weeks in to our 21-day challenge. And I hope that this challenge has been exciting and effective and certainly been a learning opportunity for you to grow your business and hopefully take it to the next level so you are ready to take on these corporate and government contracts. So on day number 11, we're going to talk about defining your company's KPIs and what they should reveal. Now, I already know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, Kimberly, what is a KPI? I know, because everybody didn't go to business school, and I do recognize that. KPIs are basically key performance indicators. We're going to get into more about what that means in just a minute, but let's start here. So when your company introduces a new product or a service or implements a new marketing strategy, how do you know if it's well received or even if it's effective, right? And do you ever wonder when your company makes a significant change to improve outcomes or to drive performance, how successful those changes are? I know most people are kind of like in the cloud, especially when you're a small business owner wearing so many different hats. You're trying all these new and different things and you're hoping that something is going to work and that you're landing on the right thing. And a lot of times when we're going through it, we can't tell what's happening, how effective it is, if it's working or not. And I'm going to tell you something. In most cases, we'll resort to, well, if we introduce a new product and it's not selling, then we know it's not working. Well, sometimes there's more to it. Sometimes there's something about the way you offer the product that can cause, you not to generate the sales that you want. So the key performance indicators will help you to be able to decipher, is it the product that people are just not interested in? Is it the pricing? Are we really, is our marketing strategy actually working? Are we employing the right marketing? So it's things like that you want to be able to understand. And so ultimately, what we want you to be able to do with these key performance indicators, we want you to be able to understand, how to measure the goals of your company. If you are a small business, just like any other company, you're setting goals on a regular basis that you're trying to achieve. And so in order to achieve those goals, you've got to make sure you have some mechanism to measure them. So my question to you today is, if you're not using KPIs, how are you measuring the progress of your company's goals? So let me just kind of give you an example because I know some of you are like, Kimberly, this stuff is like way over my head and I just don't get it. So let's say, and I actually put the example here because I want you guys to be able to go back and see it. So let's say you have a goal to reach 10,000 in sales for a new product, right? And then you run an ad to help you get there. So you want to be able to measure how many customers are buying based on ad spend, and you want to measure your progress, let's say over a 3-month period, okay? So your goal is to reach 10,000 in sales with this new product. You're running ads in order to make sure you're reaching the customer, but you want to know how effective these ads are, and you want to know if it's actually achieving the outcome that you expect. So in this case, what you might do as a company, you may be measuring the number of customers that are buying this month as a result of the current ad spend. So that's maybe one of the key performance indicators that you want to be able to put in place. You want to be able to understand how the ad spend correlates to customer purchase of the new product, okay? So I know that's big. Don't worry. We're going to go into that in just a little bit more detail so that you guys understand this better. So let's get on to our big tip for today. So your big tip for today is you want to use KPIs to measure your goals. Okay. So this is what KPIs basically do. They help you to measure what you want to achieve and by when. Okay. They're measuring performance so that you know if the strategies that you are implementing are progressing and if they're working. They also are directly associated with your company goals and objectives. Okay. So let's stay there. So remember how I was talking to you earlier about you might be setting a goal to reach a particular amount of sales, or maybe you're bringing on new employees and you want to make sure that they are, as a result of the number of hours that they're putting in, you're getting maybe a specific outcome associated with the hours that they're putting in. You know, maybe they're continuing to put people in the pipeline. We're going to that in just a minute. I'm going to give you a few more examples that are going to help you with that, okay? So let's jump into the keys. Key number one is KPIs are a type of performance measurement, okay? And they can be used to evaluate the success of an organization or of a particular activity, okay? And they also help your organization help what's important. That's why I tell people these KPIs are so important, okay? Because, you know, we're oftentimes setting goals, but we're not measuring those goals to make sure that they are effective, okay? Key number two, KPIs track your success toward a goal, okay? They can be focused on, they can either be drivers or they can be outcomes. So basically, they help you to understand what leads or what drives a certain outcome within your company. So you want to understand as you're setting goals, what's driving that goal to ensure that you are achieving it, okay? And then what outcomes are you expecting or associated with that particular goal, okay? So, and I apologize to you guys for just racing through this, but I have so much that I want to cover. And I want to make sure that we get through all of it today. So let me get to the key number three. Key number three, with key performance indicators, they need to be specific, they need to be measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. You want your key performance indicators to be SMART, because SMART ones are goal-based indicators that will help your company to stay on track, okay? So many of you are probably familiar with SMART goals, you know, so it's kind of like the same concept with your key performance indicators. You want to make sure that you set up these key performance indicators that can actually be measured so that you know if you're moving in the right direction. And typically most people measure their KPIs on a monthly basis. You know, it could be in some cases on a weekly basis, on a quarterly basis, but monthly is sort of the rule, you know, the rule of thumb when it comes to measuring KPIs. So what I want to do now is I want to kind of show you an example of KPIs. So many of you know I owned an accounting firm for 14 years, and I had a staff of 25 employees, and we were, you know, as a company, you know, we were responsible for a lot of people's resources and financials, and I wanted to always make sure that as we were setting goals that we were achieving those goals. So let me show you what our KPIs look like to give you an example of what your KPIs should or could possibly look like. So these are the KPIs for Kelly Roth Financial Services, okay? So our company's KPIs measured our ability to acquire new accounts, to upsell our services, and our billable hours versus time spent. So at Kelly Roth, our financial services tracks the following KPIs. So these were our KPIs for our company. And honestly, you can have a number of KPIs, you guys. It just depends on how many goals you have, what you're trying to achieve, and you can always reset these. And again, they need to be measurable and they need to be time-based so that you actually have real metrics to track them up against. So here are our KPIs. So one of our KPIs was how many new accounts are we opening each week, and are we keeping enough qualified prospects in our pipeline in order to meet our weekly new account goals? That KPI, we put that in place so that we make sure that we're not just setting a goal that says we want to have 10 new accounts by the end of the month. What we're measuring here is based on our ability to continue to put prospects in our pipeline. With that, and that should enable us to meet our new account goals. And if we're not, then we need to go back and look at our process for maybe getting new prospects. How many prospects are we talking to, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So our next one are we increasing business with existing customers? What percentage of business comes from additional services to existing customers? Remember, we talked the other day about keeping and growing customers. So this is a prime example of keeping and growing customers. So remember, you have an existing customer and now you're trying to upsell that customer some additional products and services, or you just want to get to the point where you're able to service your customers and provide them with more they need so that they continue to buy these things from you. Well, this was one of those KPIs for us. We were trying to determine based on our current services or the additional services that we were offering to existing customers, how many of our existing customers were actually now, purchasing additional products and services outside of what they initially were doing business with us. So this KPI was a perfect measure of that, okay? So if any of you are trying to figure out how are we measuring, how many repeat customers we're having or how many times our current customers are coming back to us to buy, this could be a good KPI for you, okay? Now, our final KPI is time spent with customers matching billable hours? Did you hear that one? That's a big one. That was important to us. We needed to know if the amount of time we were spending with our customers was matching our billable hours. Some of you get into contracts and you find that you're putting in all this time, and at the end of the day, your margins are real small, and you start wondering why. Well, this is one of those KPIs that will help you to begin to understand whether or not you are putting in too much time, not enough time, and in any case, that time that you are putting in translates into profits. So for this particular KPI, what we want to measure is what's the number of billable hours per employee versus the time spent servicing the customers, because that was going to help us determine sort of where exactly we needed to be with each of our employees in terms of the amount of time that they were putting in with a customer. Okay, does that make sense? I know that this is a quick lesson and it's a lot to learn in such a small amount of time, but you guys trust me, this is big. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of these concepts that you are learning today or you've been learning throughout this 21-day challenge, we go into deep within our Accelerate and our CBEST programs, because we really want you guys to be able to understand and grasp these concepts. Yes, a lot of them are very much business school concepts, but these are business school concepts that are applicable to your company. And if you will follow them, you will see a drastic change and impact in your company. All of this is about how you begin to scale and grow your company. So stay with us. There is no fast, skip, pass, go when it comes to growing your company. There's some things that are just tried and true, and you have to follow in order to get there, okay? And especially in the contracting world. I know we're running out of time, so let me go ahead and get into your small task for today. What I want you guys to do is I want you to work on 2 to 3 KPIs for your company based on your existing goals. So go back, pull out the goals that you've set for your company for this year, and then go now and start working on some key performance indicators that will let you know how you're progressing with these goals and whether or not you're actually achieving them. Anybody can set goals, but to be able to measure these goals to determine whether or not you are actually making progress and achieving them, that's a whole nother thing. It's kind of like that New Year's resolution that everybody sets. They're like, I have a New Year's resolution to lose 100 pounds. And I know that because I said it every year. But if I'm not measuring it and I'm not doing anything to ensure that we're staying on track, then how do I get there? So KPIs are a way to make sure that you're achieving the goals that you're aiming for within your company. Make sure that you continue to follow us every day. Share this message as I shared said to you, share this session so that more people who you know are small business owners that need this information can get this information. The more you share, the more people will be able to reach. Be sure that you click below to register on our site and to be able to learn about some of the core strategies that I put into place. Make sure you post your thoughts on social media if you have questions, if you have something about this assignment that you just absolutely love, or you just wanted to share, or you weren't sure about, go ahead and post it. And we look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Join us tomorrow at the same time, 2:30 Pacific Standard Time, on Facebook Live for day number 12. For day number 12, you guys, you know I'm an accountant, so I got to get into the numbers. We're going to talk about knowing your numbers, okay? I want you guys to know your numbers, and you've got to know them, because one of the questions we constantly get from businesses that are going into the contracting space, they want to make sure that they can actually cover their costs with the contracts that they're acquiring. So we're going to get into that on tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and we look forward to our next day in our 21-day challenge. Have a great day.